Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. Today, I am back with a familiar friend and guest of the platform. He is UFC vet, BKFC vet, and he gets down and does some Gamebred fighting. He is wide open. He is Mr. Josh Weems. Hey, Josh, what's going on, man? Some big news last week. You're fighting Jason Knight. This is a fight that fight fans should be going crazy for. Both of you guys. You refuse to go backwards. You only move forwards. This is one of my predictions for fight of the night here. Overall, are you excited about this opportunity?
Oh, most definitely, man. Anytime, Masvidal and Dean Tool give me a, opportunity, I'm super grateful. And most definitely the opponent is exciting. So I think that we're going to put on a great fight for the fans. So definitely excited for it.
What was the initial reactions when Dean called you and said, I think you're going to fight Jason Knight this go around?
So actually, Jason Knight reached out to me on Messenger probably 2 months ago and was like, hey, do you want to scrap whenever they come to when the Masvidal and them come back to Biloxi. And I was like, I just sent back send location, and so we end up basically maybe a couple weeks later, Dean hits me up, and so it all falls through, or goes through. I didn't mean to say falls through. So it all lined up perfectly, and man, I'm just excited. Hopefully I can get in here and make a statement against Jason and come for whoever wins that belt. That's the goal.
You get to fight once again in Biloxi. You get to fight Mississippi. Obviously, it's an interesting matchup because you got two Mississippi guys, so it might be a little divided in the stance of who to cheer for here. But is it pretty cool to be able to fight another Mississippi guy in your home state?
Oh, most definitely, man. Just again, it's one of those matchups that you just can wake up and be excited for. We already know that Jason has. I mean, he's a killer, man. He's been fighting forever. I mean, I was just watching this fight last night. 18-2 when he fought Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres is a great kickboxer. Moves well. Slick. Jason finished him. Rear naked choke. That was Jason at his best. Jason's beat Dan Hooker. He's beat Jim Miller, or not Jim Miller. Sorry, Jim Allers. Um, you know, Jason has only started to decline towards the end of his career, still only fighting savages. So, but unfortunately for him, he's got another savage in front of him, and I just look to continue to respect him with enough. Man, like I said, watching this film, knowing who he is, I've known who he is for a long time. So I'm training like he is that 18-2 guy who beat Alex Caceres, who has beaten Dan Hooker. That's who I'm training for. I'm training for the young, hungry Jason. And if he doesn't show up to be young and hungry like we've known him to be, I'm going to get him out of there early. So, but I know Jason's going to come correct, and that's why I think this is a great matchup for the fans.
It's kind of crazy when you look at your topology. There's only been 8. This is going to be the 8th Gamebred Bareknuckle MMA event. This is going to be your 6th time fighting in the platform. What do you love about this so much?
It's the most raw form of fighting, and Masvidal. I don't just say this because he's my boss, but Masvidal has always been one of my favorite fighters. Like he's just freaking always represented the sport. Like one of those when he loses, you don't remember if he lost because he just comes to fight. Like it's just one of those like same way with that's why I hated whenever him and Diaz fought. I guess those kind of guys are the pioneers for the sport, and so yeah, man, it means a lot to be able to work for him. But also, this is the rawest form of fighting, and it's paying the bills right now. So I'm grateful to be able to say that I have proven myself for this to the company, and I'm grateful for the platform they've given me, and I'm ready to go out here and just show that I'm one of the most dangerous 135ers there is out here, and I am coming for whoever wins that belt. That's it.
When you fought Orlando against TJ Brown, bit of an eventful fight week from you. You didn't even know you were going to be fighting TJ Brown until like 3 or 4 days before the fight. You get down to Orlando. Brendan Schaub ends up flying up your family to Orlando. The contest didn't go your way, but overall, what was that experience like of taking a fight on such short notice?
Man, it was definitely something I would never take back. My kids got to fly. Definitely first time they'll be able to remember it. They were real young whenever they did fly. So just getting to get pulled down from the basically what they call nosebleeds, bad area from from the earlier fights. But whenever it was my time to fight, the promoter, everybody, they made sure that my family was front and center. They just really treated us so awesome, and that's why I love fighting for Gamebred. They treat you like family, and that fight didn't go my way, but I learned a lot. I held back a little, taking that fight on 3 day notice and feeling TJ's strength. But again, I wouldn't take it back for nothing. My kids looked at me like Superman. We got to, experience that together, and I get to, Brendan Schaub doing that it was definitely awesome. It was super genuine.
Dean's mentioned to me in the past that they're very selective of who they fight on these cards. Obviously they want an entertaining product, they want excitement. You fight at an extremely high pace. You are an extremely this exciting fighter. If you watch that Ern Rivera fight, I mean, it's crazy. Right off the rip. I mean, you're going at him, knees, kicks, elbow, anything you can throw, right off the rip. What's that style mean to you? Do you take a lot of pride in fighting with that crazy wide open style?
I do, man. I want to be able to be that fighter where guys like the fans are like, well, we love watching this guy. I want to be able to like what I just said about Masvidal and Diaz and Cowboy Cerrone. Freaking, I could go on a freaking huge list, but I want to be known as one of those guys that just I bring that action. I'm super creative. I'm not on their level. I don't have all the knockouts and stuff, but hopefully we're definitely we're working on that. We're building our power. We're digging into the bag. We're learning to set down our punches. But it does mean a lot to me to know that I can set that pace out. I think that's a big confidence booster for me because of how hard I work. I know that I can set that pace out, and even when I'm tired, I know how to push. So it's I definitely take a lot of pride in that.
We talked about before, we'll talk about again. You embody what it is to be a mixed martial arts artist in the sense of sacrifices. I think very few people who watch this sport really know the sacrifices that a fighter has to make. You're on your lunch break right now. You have your painting business. You work a 9 to 5. You have kids. You have to make time to get punched in the face and do the training. Obviously now when you're in Gamebred, the money's a little better than it was on the regional scene. I mean, a lot better. Let me rephrase that. Money's a lot better now than it is on the regional scene. They're going
A
to pay
lot better.
guys, what they deserve. But the sacrifices are still there. What makes you stay motivated to get through this?
Man, I know me and you are friends. We've talked about this, but my kids have watched me in the sport for a long time, and you know they've seen me take losses, and they've seen me come back from those losses, and they see how hungry I am, and I've put in like what really gives me on top of all that, because my kids are my number one motivation, my kids and my wife, but on top of all that, like I still wake up so hungry, like I even though I have my job where I work 5 6 hours, I make sure I get a couple hours in the morning or an hour good training session, strength and conditioning, and I get my hours in the evening. I get time to where I set it up to where I can take off and go train for weeks. But man, it's a lot to sacrifice, but it's all worth it, man. Showing them that how you come back from losses and not letting it, you know, deter you. I mean, they've definitely seen me at my low and then come back and have my best performance. And I'm on one. To me, it's a 2 fight losing streak. I know I got a win against Ray Trujillo in between, but I don't know, man. To me, this is my sport, and those last 2 losses, I'm just so ready to get that taste out of my mouth and show why I am a threat to this sport. I'm not 2-2. If you look on paper, out of my 4 fights for Gamebred, or hold on, let's see, how many fights do I got for Gamebred? Let's
I
see.
think this is going to be number 6, isn't it?
Let's see. I want to say nah.
You
I
got
think,
Brown, Junior, Erwin Rivera.
and
Um,
then Isaac Hueles. So there's four. So this will be my fifth one.
okay.
Um, Out of all four of those, if you look at it, and this is on me too because I can sign up for it, but it's a new sport, and there's, like you just said a minute ago, Dean and them are only signing savages, so they're trying to build the division. Out of those four fights, I've only fought one bantamweight fight, and I'm not trying, but I mean, I dominated that fight. I didn't finish, but I came at Irwin for 3 rounds, and when I wasn't coming at him, I was making him miss and I was making him pay, and I really just think that if I can stay in my weight class, I'm gonna be hell. So I mean, this is why we've agreed to 140 catch weight with me and Jason Knight. It's not 145, but it's also not 135. I don't know that Jason can make that, but regardless, I'm trying to stay to where it's close to the bantamweight division as I can because I don't walk around real heavy, and I want to be able to show that I can fight for that belt. So. Um, yeah, man, just super motivating and ready to really show why this is my sport and why they call me wide open and why Masvidal and them want to continue to give me a job, man, because I freaking love this, man. I wear it on my sleeve when I fight, when I train, and I've been in camp for a long time, and we still got 8 weeks, man. So I guarantee you, it's just going to be a high-paced fight, man. I don't know if he'll be able to keep up with it. I hope he can. If he can, the fans are just in for an even better fight.
Does this have all the making to be a 3 round absolute dogfight bloodbath?
I just don't think so because of the scar tissue that he has. Like, again, I all respect to Jason. The dude has, fought top tier guys and been training a long time, but he has, he's taken some shots, and you know I just don't see in this sport of bare knuckle it going 15 minutes, going the distance with the way that scar tissue is built up. I'm not banking on that, but I'm an accurate striker, and I plan on getting the job done, whether it's you know, exposing some cuts or going to the body or wrestling him up. I'm an MMA guy, but I'm going to do it with fashion. I just don't see that it goes 3, 4 rounds, especially with both of us the way we are both come at you kind of fighters. So well, I think one of us are going to make each other make mistakes, and it's going to be whoever can be smarter and get the job done.
Obviously, when you're fighting bare knuckles, a little different than gloved MMA, just from the fact that, it's a little easier to break your hands, obviously, without having those gloves on. So, guys, in order to get around that, they practice striking and accuracy. You have to be a much more accurate puncher. Do you feel from the time before you got into bare knuckle to now, do you have a whole new level of accuracy with your striking?
I want to say I was pretty accurate before, but I've definitely started to work more actual bare knuckle strikes, and I've bought certain pads to where I can hit a certain part with my knuckle. I've got this sandbag I work on for strengthening my knuckles. So I mean, I would say I've definitely gotten more accurate because me just not having any gloves on, you can feel where the point is that you're hitting. So you can kind of, just kind of dial in on exactly where you want those front two knuckles guiding to. So,
So obviously in the main event for this one, Brandon Davis, Randy Costa. You've beat one of these guys, Brandon Davis, already. It's going to be for the inaugural 135 Gamebred strap. In your mind, is this the title eliminator? Is the winner get that next title shot?
the winner of me and Jason,
Yeah.
my thing is this: I don't think Jason can make 135. So I don't think he'll be fighting for a belt. But I do think that there are other guys that they could bring in. Um, I don't know how that's going to work, to be honest. I just, I, I'm not sure how that's going to work, man. I don't really. Like I told, I think Christopher, yeah, like if I got to beat Jason and then they bring in some other 35ers and they got to build a division, I'm the guy. Call me. I'm gonna smash your boy, and I'm gonna show why I'm the best bantamweight right here in this bare knuckle MMA sport. And Ideally, this is what happens. Brandon beats Randy, and that will be technically 2-0. Brandon beat him in the UFC. Now Brandon beat him in Bareknuckle MMA. And me and Brandon fight for that belt in his hometown when he's ready, when Masvidal and them are ready. And we we go at it once more. I think that he wants that rematch, and I don't think he would say this to anyone else, but I've heard through the grapevine that there was a little bit of some, maybe he had a sickness, maybe, I don't know, when we fought. I don't know. But I would love to shut all that up and just show why again, man. I'll fight you 10 times, dude. If they're paying us, let's go. So if Randy wins, I think they'll set up for a third one, and then we'll go from there. But right now, I'm just letting you know, rolling with the punches, and I'm gonna take who they give me. I'm training like every freaking day. So I mean, I don't really care as long as I can stay healthy. That's the game plan, man. Just right after this fight, heal up, and hopefully Brandon gets it done, so me and him could turn around and fight. You know.
No, the last time I saw you was kind of a impromptu sighting. We were in California, Anaheim, California at the same time, obviously with you or with your friend Van Bogenriff for his BKFC contest. We were able to go to the Diaz versus Masvidal boxing match. What a crazy event. I've been to a lot of fights, but that atmosphere in that arena, I mean, man, they delivered. What a heck of a contest. What a great night of combat. Overall, what was your experience like in California?
Bro, it was awesome, man. For Dean to hook us up with those tickets, man, it was awesome, man. I felt like, hey, look, got to be doing something right. He didn't charge us a lick. Got us in there, man. We got to watch like two of my favorite fighters ever fight, and they delivered, man. Devin Cushion won. Put on a great show against a good opponent too. And then got to watch like Mayweather's little prodigy fight. So it was just an awesome night altogether. And then what even really sealed the deal was my boy Van going out there and getting a first round knockout. And getting a show that man, 40 years old, going out there and finishing a guy. And that guy, I think he was 1-1 for BKFC. But regardless, it's inspiring, and it was cool that he ended the trip on that, and just made it that much better of a little traincation.
You've been at this sport for a while now, and I think not a lot of people realize, mixed martial arts 15, 20 years ago was nowhere near where it is today. It wasn't nearly as culturally accepted. It was banned at many places. It was labeled kind of like barbaric and brutal and, criminal activity even. When you were younger, when you considering getting into the sport, did you ever imagine at one time a sanctioned bare knuckle MMA organization even existing?
No, no, never. No, I even when I seen it, like Masvidal and them doing that, Masvidal and Kimbo and several other bare knuckle fighting industry. Like I don't know, I never thought like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen in MMA one day. And it's awesome. I love that they thought of it, and the sport's blowing up, man.
All right, Weems, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Mr. Jason Knight November 15th in Biloxi, Mississippi?
For the fans' sake, I hope it goes 2 rounds, some good back and forth exchanges. I'm gonna definitely look to my prediction is TKO stoppage second round. We'll be ready to go 15 minutes, full pace if that's what it takes, and our he can take it. And yeah, second round, man. I don't see it going past second round though. I would love that for the fans. Perfect world. I go in there and hit them with some ninja stuff and go home with a pocket full of cash.
All right, Weems. Well, I'm looking forward to the fight. You and Jason are two of my favorite fighters to watch. I think this is going to be fight of the night. It's between this one and the main event for me between fight of the night. But, I
Yeah.
know both you guys are going to come ready. Both you guys are going to deliver. And I wish you nothing but the best, my friend. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Man, Carlo, appreciate you having me, man. You have a great day, bro.